This is just a little prelude to the video that's coming. Since making this video, DNT Optics, who manufacture this thermal unit, have been in contact to say, first of all, they got a fantastic response off of that video. That's the main reason they called, and they're sending me out a TNC 225 Thermite day, night and thermal scope, as well as one of their Zulus night and day scopes. That's because some of the comments that we've had, people have said, why don't you try this, why don't you try that? So they're actually sending me the other two out as well, so I can do individual reviews on those scopes, and also side by side showing the differences between them. So that should help you. It may explain to me the differences, and I'll stop making mistakes and I won't have to say you got that bit wrong. So thank you for everybody that commented on the last one. This is moving things on for us and for DNT. And here comes the video. Thank you. Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. Welcome to this video, the second video featuring my new DNT Hydra HS225 thermal unit. Now, in the first video, which I filmed last week in Whitby, I took it out of the box and I tried thermal for the very first time. Fair to say, I was blown away. Much better than I was expecting. The detail, what you can actually see, is much clearer. It's not just blocks and blobs. It is most definitely articles and animals you can see. So this is the second part. I've been playing with this a lot. I've been playing with this a lot in the meantime, and I'm going to do another video just on general spotting, because the stuff that's around at night you simply wouldn't believe. But we'll get onto that in a different one. What I want to do today is mount it onto a gun first of all. There are different ways of mounting it onto a gun. We'll go into the two ways, both ways of doing it. I'm going to go through more detailed of using the menus within the system and show you how easy that is. I can use it. It's that easy that I've figured out how I can actually record me going through inside the unit and showing you what it is you do. It is that simple. So I'm going to show you mounting onto a gun, how you set it up for the gun, and then zero it with the gun. Then we're going to do a little bit of shooting with it, and that's it. It's a very, very simple video today. The gun I'm going to be using, I'm just going to pop that to one side for the moment. The gun I'm going to be using, you will recognise as being the ugliest gun in the world. It is my Reximex Meta Plus. Now, I bought this specifically for testing this unit because I didn't have a gun suitable. Most people that are going to be using most people watching this channel that are going to be wanting to use thermal are going to be using a PCP air rifle. They're going to want multi-shot, compact, high shot count for rat shooting, rabbit shooting, feral shooting, whatever it is. They're going to want something that's fast, quiet, multi-shot. So I got myself not the cheapest fast, quiet, multi-shot I could find, but certainly one which I thought could represent good value, to find out if something for less than £600 could be as good as something twice as much. And if you go back and look at the videos, you'll see I came across a number of problems, solution opportunities with this rifle, all of which were quite easily surmountable. I got around them and it's resulted in an exceedingly accurate, multi-shot, very quiet air rifle. Speaking of quiet, I'm going to be doing a video on how loud is that, because I've taken the shroud off this, or reduced the shroud, so it's just running on a SAC moderator now, and I'm running this at 24 foot-pounds currently. And at 3 meters, which is the measuring distance for testing, the most standard distance for testing sound, at 3 meters, that is 72 decibels. That's nothing. It really is incredible. But anyway, so what we are going to do is take the scope I have off of here, and then we're going to mount this one on. So the first thing I will do is remove this one, then we'll get the other one out the box. I've got a set of scales next to me as well because I want to test something. I've been using this, as I say, I've been using this as a spotter a lot, and it's lighter than my binoculars. And I know this is a hefty scope, but it's a 30mm tube scope I've got on here, quite a hefty thing, and I want to see how much it weighs compared to my thermal unit, because another preconceived idea I had about thermal was it was going to be big, bulky and heavy. And I can tell you, it certainly ain't that. Let's get that off of there. And we'll move the rifle to one side. Let's get into the box. I love, every time I open this box, I love it. I am like a kid at Christmas. But unlike Christmas, I am going to be giving this one back. Which is okay. I'm sure there'll be something new along presently that'll stop me from crying too much about it. Now, we've got this handy box in the top here. I showed you what came in the box last time. It's perfect up there for storing all your batteries and your battery charger. I've got 4 of the 18560, I think they are, batteries. Each one will give up to 4 hours use, so that's an awful lot of use, isn't it? Just to carry around with your 16 hours worth of shooting. Yeah, it's plenty, it's plenty. Now, here's the unit itself. As I said, I want to weigh this, because my preconceived idea was, oof, that's going to be heavy. Let me just pop that onto there, and that weighs, now, have I got this on a level surface? That's going to be the question, isn't it? On a level surface. 411 grams. Okay, 411 grams. The scope, 836. So that is half the weight of, let me tell you what scope this is so you know exactly. It is half the weight of a Hawk Vantage 30 WASFIR. Half the weight. Now I know the mounts are on this, so actually remember those numbers. When I've got the mount on this, we'll double check that, but currently it's less than half the weight of that 836. In fact, to save us time, let me put that on there and that on there. So with the mounts and the mounting screws, 517 grams against 836. It's a significant chunk lighter than the scope that was on there before, and that's going to be a good thing with that rifle, because that is a heavy rifle. I haven't got a battery in there, have I? I'm going to add the battery, and I'm nothing if not precise. 560, there we go, 560. So a lot lighter. It should be heavier in my mind. Thermal imaging equipment should be heavier than your standard rifle scope. It isn't. Now I've put all that junk on top of this scale. Now let's put it together. Let's put it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out how we put this on. Now, the two different ways in which you can mount your scope, your thermal scope, to your gun. Both use this, but one is a standalone scope, which is what I'm going to be doing today. But the second way you can do it is as a clip-on. Now, it's not such a thing with us air gunners. It's more with centre fire hunters, particularly AR-15s, things with a very long accessory rail on the front. Now, I do have an AR-15, but I don't use a traditional AR-15 scope. The ones most used in the States are the 1 to 4x24, things like that. The kind of short, stock, squat, fast target acquisition, bang, 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 away you go. On my AR-15, actually, that's what was on it. So, you know, I use it for precision shooting at 200 meters rather than blah 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 blah. But say you had a small scope on your rifle. I am using an Optima Gamekeeper to illustrate this purpose, and you have your standard all the time day scope on the gun. You don't want to change that, you just want to use it for thermal. Well, what you do is you mount this in front of that. This part comes off, or would it go over? I suppose it could go over. Not having done it, I wouldn't know. But that part can go inside there. You need a 65mm eye relief. So that would go inside of there, that would be clipped onto there, and that would be it. You would have your daytime scope already zeroed. You've got your thermal unit in front of that. You've got something which I'll show you when we get round to setting it up inside the menu in here. You can set it to clip on. So then it recognises you're using it as a clip-on unit and works purely as a thermal. And you'll have seen, and I have seen, and I was tempted to... Every time I see a gimmick, I'm tempted to get it. I'll be honest with you, but you can get a mount for this that flips it over to the side. So you got thermal onto day, onto thermal, onto day, onto... Wow, not necessary for me. But that goes there, that goes there. That looks through the thermal part, you get the thermal image. Now it has to be that way round, unlike infrared, which you can put that way round. But as I showed you in the first video, thermal sees heat signatures. If you point thermal at a clear glass window, all it sees is the glass, nothing that is beyond. So it would only register the lens, nothing the other side of it. So it won't work that way round, it will only work that way round. So that's the first way of mounting it onto your gun. That's not the way I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be putting this on as a permanent thermal unit, and I'll be leaving it on here for a few weeks to see how I get along, and every now and then I will be doing an update on how I'm getting on with my thermal unit. Now this is the mounting base. It fits onto a Picatinny rail or a Weaver rail. Is it Picatinny or is it a Weaver? We don't know. I don't actually know the difference. There will be one. I'm sure you'll know. In fact, tell me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a 22mm rail. But the advantage of these is supposedly you can take it on and off. Was that a chicken just pecked my leg? On and off, and it'll be in the same zero. And it's a very firm, because you've got a locator lug there. It's very firm and it isn't going to move with recoil. There is no recoil on this. I don't have to worry about that. Now you can mount it that way round to get the scope further back towards your eye, or you can mount it that way round to get it further away. So if you were doing that's clever, isn't it? If you were doing the clip-on, you'd have it on that way round. So that could clamp onto the rail there, and you could have your scope mounted in. That gives you plenty of space for your scope. In fact, you could get a clip-on. If I had the right scope and the right kind of mounts, I could use a clip-on on this rail here. I'm pretty confident of that. But my Optima is actually a dovetail. What I need is a Weaver 22mm to dovetail converter. That would raise it probably just the right amount as well. But anyway, it's possible. It's doable. If that's what you want to do, this unit is designed to do that. And just so you can see what I'm doing, move the gun to there. In a little baggie, I have 4 screws to secure the mount to the gun. Sorry, the mount to the thermal unit. I'll pop that there. Make sure I've got it the right way round, so I'm giving myself, bringing the scope back towards my eye, not away from it. Using the included Torx key, not an Allen key, it's a Torx key. I shall put these into here, like that. Like that. And like that. Now, I've said in the last one, and I'll say it again, DNT have lent this unit to me. It's on a 90-day loan. I haven't been given it. It isn't free. I'm just being asked to test it and give my opinion. I'm allowed to give whatever opinion I like, as long as it is truthful. but they have sent me an email to say that there's a code in the description below with a discount for this unit. It's normally £999, it's £799 with the TBT discount linked below. But they've also got other items on there with a TBT discount on it, and some of the Zulus range have just come down in price, and they have asked me to tell you that if that's something you were thinking of getting, it might be an idea to take a look at that. Because I can tell you, this whole day and night digital thermal thing, it's the new black. It really is. The competition in this sector is intense. Everybody's up in their game. The prices I think the prices are fantastic now, and the quality of these items is, I've glanced at things like this before but always thought, it's a bit, but no, it isn't. One thing I'd say before I put this on, I noticed while I was doing this up, you've actually got the torque settings written next to the torque screws there. This is 35 inch-pounds of torque. If you don't know what that is, that's pretty much 3/4 pressure with your little finger, okay, to get the right torque setting on that. And as you put it on here, that's 35 inch-pounds, this one is 30 inch-pounds, so this one here doesn't need quite so much. So 30 inch-pounds is use the long shaft using the short shaft to turn it, and we'll just nip them all first. 30 inch-pounds, so just tweak with that end, okay, so you're not putting too much torque on it. Get a proper torque setting wrench, it's much more accurate, but this is only going on a PCP, so I know it can't be too loose, so I have not over tightened it. And that is it. We have got the unit on here. The dogs have discovered something that's boiling their piss. Let me just check to see if I've got the eye relief right. Now, first thing I've noticed, I can actually pick the gun up quite easy now. It's nowhere near as heavy. So to turn the gun on, to turn the thermal unit on, press and hold the power button at the front there. Some people say I don't rehearse this. They might have a point. Before you even try and turn your thermal unit on. Now, why I didn't think of doing this sooner, I always try and do it without, but putting the battery in always helps. Nobody noticed. Shh. No one noticed that. Move along, there's nothing to see here. Right, so with the battery in place, press and hold the power button at the front there, and it goes DNT optics. Wait for it to set. There we go. Look at that. Beauty. Now, what I'm going to do is cut here, and then I'm going to start recording within the unit, and I'm going to describe to you what it is, what I am doing while I'm doing that. Let's go inside it. Okay, to get into the menu, what you do is you press the menu button, which is the one with the settings on it. Long press that, takes you into the menu. So the first thing you have is the clip-on section. That's where you go in to set all your clip-on things like centering it to your scope and stuff like that. We're not going to be doing that one because I don't have the right scope for it. Scroll down, we get to connections. That's where you get your Wi-Fi. You can connect it to your phone, but via Wi-Fi, so you can watch what the scope is seeing through your phone, or somebody else can see what you're seeing through the phone. And that's also where you download the clips that you're recording, like this one. The next one down is your reticle zeroing. We'll come back to that when we start doing the shooting. Then we've got reticle settings. So if I short press the menu, that takes me through to reticles or reticle colors. So first of all, short press, and it takes me through to the different types of reticle I can have. I've got it on hide at the moment because I've been using it as a spotter. But if I bring it up to 1, that's a first focal plane mil dot reticle. I can scroll down through them and you can see them all. So that's first focal plane. That's first focal plane. Second focal plane. Second again. second again, that's a German type wrap, small cross, a box, and a box with lines. I'm just going to stick with first focal plane and that one, because that's got a nice tiny dot in the middle of it. I quite like that. So now, if I long press the function button, there we go. It goes back to reticles. Then I can come down to reticle colours, short press that, and I've got a choice of white, red, green, yellow or black. And I'm going to stick with white, I think. So short press the menu button, and that comes there. Short press again. Or is it? No, it's a long press this time. Hang on, which is the menu one? That one there. I'm trying to look through it and press buttons I can't see on the top. That's the trouble. So back into there. Back out of that bit. So that's my reticle set. PIP settings. Recoil activated recording. Now that only works on calibers above 2.2 rimfire because it needs recoil to activate it. When it's switched on, it automatically records when you've taken the shot, but rather cleverly 30 seconds before you took the shot as well. So you can have that set, be walking around with the gun, a shot presents itself and you can take the shot and it's pre-recorded the 30 seconds or saved the 30 seconds before the shot. So that is quite good. What else do we have? Image super resolution. You can change all the settings in this. The function settings, system settings. Let's have a little look inside of here, because that is where we have available storage, language setting, date and time. Now my date and time is wrong, but I'm not going to change that now because you don't want to watch me change the date and time. That would just be dull. But that's all in there. And the one I missed, I wanted to show you, oops, go back into there, was in the function settings. You've got the loop recording, because it records on a loop of 5 minutes, and I can tell you I've been recording for 6 because it's cut it and start again at 1, but it should be undetectable, we shall see. Gyroscope settings and the audio recording. I've got the audio recording switched off at the moment because I don't know if you remember from the Whitby video, the audio isn't as good as I normally use for YouTube. It isn't designed for bloggers or vloggers or whatever it is that I'm mucking around at. So what I'm doing is I'm recording this without audio and recording the audio simultaneously on another device. So that is that. All that we have left to do now is zeroing it, which we shall do now.
You will have noticed the sound quality of that bit was shocking, but to make up for that, the next bit is shocking and out of sync.
I've got my target set up at my usual 42 metres. It's just a standard black and white target. I've got my target set up at my usual 42 metres because it absorbs just a standard black and white target. So I can see the black stands out because it absorbs the sunlight more than the white. Bracket so it I can see the target quite well. Go for dead centre. Going to, that was silly, bracket it rather than go for dead centre. That was silly. Just hang on a second. Let me just bracket that again. And what I'm going to do is fire 3 shots in and then check with my binoculars where the group is. There, so that's 3 shots. Let's see. They are near the edge of the paper at 8 o'clock. So I have been told by a few people on the previous video to use aluminium as a target for zeroing during the day, and that's a very good idea, and one I wish I'd remembered before I'd started this, but never mind. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press menu. I'm going to come down to reticle zeroing, that one there, and then I've got different profiles up the top there. I can choose different profiles for different rifles, but I'm only using it on this one, so I'm not going to. So I'm going to come down to my X-axis, press OK, and then I can come across one at a time like that. If I press and hold it, it comes over 10. And I'm thinking that's about there. And then I'm going to press that again, come down to my Y-axis, and I need to come down to where the 8 is currently. No, I didn't press that right. Do that. Right, let's try there. Just going to go up to that one. So that's about 50. So let's try that. So load again. Adjust my little. I do love on this gun my little monopod at the back. It just makes it very easy for very precise things. What have I got there? Now through the binoculars. Well, there you go. That's zeroed. That was easy. So there you have it. That is how easy this scope is to use. The fact that you're able to watch what I videoed back shows how easy it is to download from the unit onto your phone. Zeroing it, easier. I would say it's easier than with a standard scope, because the gun stays where it is. You just press buttons and it takes the crosshairs to where the shot landed. It's, I keep saying mind blown. I do, but it is. Like I say, link down below. Don't forget there's a link down below for a discount. If this is your kind of bag, baby, if you do vermin shooting of any sort, this would be great. If you do it at night, this would be spectacular. Advantages of this that I can see from my limited experience, from my limited half an hour playing with it on a gun. There's no parallax error on this. You know, you've got all your parallax and everything with the scope to get your head positioning right. With this, it's digital. You can look at it through any angle. It doesn't matter. Everything's done inside. Parallax isn't an issue. That's why it works well as a clip-on as well. Disadvantages, obviously, it's a thermal scope. I was shooting at a paper target. I could only see the black circle that was warmer than the surrounding white. Not great for precision target shooting. If you're doing 10 meter HFT or FT, this isn't for you. But if you're shooting warm things, or if you're shooting warm things in cover, warm things that hide, or warm things at night, get one of these. Absolutely get one of these. I think it's fantastic. We're going to go into the spotting scope side of it in the next video. Please like, subscribe, hit notifications so you don't miss that one. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.